Welcome, everybody, back to Velo Sound Interview Sunday. This time, I'm here with one of my German post-rock hopefuls, jeffk. So, gang, thanks, guys, for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So, the first question that I always ask is, what is the band shirt or merch, hopefully not pants, that you're wearing today?
Should I start?
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't think I wear any band shirts. I wear sometimes, but not today. Bands. If I would have taken one, I would choose one from friends of mine. I've got two of those. They're called Static Means, post-punk from Leipzig. Cool T-shirt designs, cool band.
Stefan, which one are you wearing?
Of course, our own.
Always.
No,
always
really.
the best. Always the best.
Yeah, it's kind of the same. I'm not wearing any band shirt right now, but I guess I have two band shirts in my closet, which is Altingün and Sonic Youth.
Okay.
And I guess these days I would prefer to wear Altingün.
Okay.
Because Sonic Youth is, I don't know, kind of, let's say old-fashioned to me right now.
Something that you don't listen to anymore?
Not so much compared to some years ago.
Okay. So as I also always plug stuff, so I'm wearing one of my favorite Danish bands, Mole. Wonderful Black Ace. And definitely one of the bands from Denmark to watch. Second of all, where are we catching you right now, guys? I know you're living in Leipzig, East Germany, but where are you? At home? Looks like it.
I'm totally at home. Yeah, this is my let's call it working room with one plant.
Yeah, mine isn't seeable right now, but I have one up there as well. Okay. My plant. Yeah, I'm at home as well in Leipzig right now.
So maybe
I just arrived from.
Go ahead, Stefan. You just arrived from?
From work, and it was a bit rushy. So I'm just calming down right now.
Okay. So maybe both of you can tell our audience, for all those havens out there who don't know jeffk enough, maybe you can say what both of you are doing in the band.
Yeah, sure. First of all, it's called jeffk. At least that's what we call it, but you can call it JFK if you want.
No, we'll come to that also.
And I'm, it's a question we get a lot, and understandable, I would say. I'm Børge. I play bass and do a little bit of synth work, but mostly bass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm Stefan. I'm the drummer, and especially the drummer.
So we got the rhythm section here, but Børge, you already mentioned it.
Yes.
So jeffk. Yes. So is there any sense behind jeffk? I mean, like, the spelling is strange, the name itself is strange.
No,
true.
Not really. So there's no real sense behind it. Yeah, so I guess when we all moved to Leipzig in 2008, the band name was Mr. Monty-Moore, and we were all about changing lives, jobs, and especially the music, and we were thinking about, okay, maybe we should change the name as well. And we were exploring lots of stuff, especially maybe names. For example, Jeff, that's just a name. So it's not based on JFK. Actually, the first part of all was Jeff, and back then our old or former bass player said, "Okay, Jeff, sounds good, but a little bit boring. Just add a K to it." Okay, and all this whole process took us so long that we were kind of exhausted of searching for such things, and we just said, okay, that's it.
We're settled.
Now all the mystique is gone.
Well. I mean, we could still go to the next level and ask, like, why did he choose the letter K? So there is still enough mystique possible there, like we could still go into sequels and sequels and sequels of that. Don't worry. But what I also always like to know with bands that not enough people are familiar with, also in order to change band, do you two remember like any maybe gateway moment or a special record, a special song, maybe an artist or a special event that got you into this kind of music, which, for lack of a better word, let's just call it post-rock, okay? So is there anything that got you into making this kind of music?
For me, not really, I think. I was moving to Leipzig as well, a little bit later than the other guys that were in the band before. And I joined another post-rock band here. And I played other music before, like stoner or rock music or punk music, grunge in my youth. So that was kind of my heritage music. And then I just decided to join that band because I thought it was interesting. I listened to post-rock bands as well, but not exclusively. I didn't feel like this is the music I want to make. But just wanted to dip my toes in something different, and liked it.
So you were a fan
and for
of
me
the band
personally,
before, right?
Oh,
do I get
correct.
that right, Burger? So you were a fan of the band before you joined them?
From Jeff, you mean? Yeah, to be honest, I wouldn't say fan. I heard of them before because of same scene, maybe you could say, or same city with not that much bands. So I've heard of them before and knew that they were quite good, to say that.
So not a fan?
Not a fan, no. Still not, no, just joking.
Still not a fan.
No, yeah.
Stefan, is there any gateway thing for you?
So for me personally, no, not really. So I joined let's say the former band, as I was explaining before, Mr. Montimore, as a drummer, because they were initially doing cover music, cover songs, and so on. And then they decided, okay, we want to do our own stuff and to write own music, not just covering and so on. Then the old drummer left the band and I joined it, and so on and so on. And Matthias, our guitar player, who cannot be here today, was originally singing when we at first started to create or write music and so on. But we all thought, okay, no one of us can really sing. We just don't have the voice. And we just don't know what to sing because we're not the lyric guys, not the writers, and so on. And we let's call it like that, had a lack of vocals, a lack of singers. That's why we just decided to do it without vocals. So, and I guess so that's yeah, my memory is that after we decided to do that, or at least I did, I discovered Mogwai. And some months later, Matthias came to a rehearsal and said, I just discovered a band called Maserati. And I guess that's how it all started. And yeah, those two bands yeah, became huge influences for us.
I can see that. So you have a new record out called Tar, which I think is a very interesting record. Also, in part, because of a name. We'll come to that in a moment. But what I like about the record, that it sounds very, very clear, which in my opinion is one of your trademarks. But at the same time, it also sounds very open and very shifty. How long did it take you to find the perfect fitting soundscape or tuning for this record?
It took like forever.
Yeah, that's true. But I think big part of it, of course, is Jan Oberg, who recorded the thing and recorded Inadequate Shelter. The predecessor, is this the word?
Predecessor,
from 2018. So yeah. Kind of, yeah, predecessor. Yeah, thanks. And so the open and clean sound, that is a lot of Jan's work. But I think, at least if you listen to us live, that we got a pretty tidy, pretty focused sound of our own. And that is a lot of work, but wasn't specially done for this record, more like moving on, finding sounds and fine-tuning it. Because as a three-piece that we've got a lot of room to fill with guitar and bass. So we experimented quite a lot with different amps, combination of amps and settings of that. So the sounds, as I entered the band, I joined the band 2017, I guess, and
yes, 17.
Yeah. Yes, and they had a pretty focused sound already, and then we tried to, or I did my thing that I wanted to do, and we worked on the sound together, and I think that's just the final result of that. No.
So, Berger, correct me if I'm wrong, but you were already part of the writing and recording process for the predecessor, for the second album. The first album that you did on...
No, not at all.
Okay.
Yeah, no, not at all. I joined after they recorded the album. So the bass player before Tim wrote and recorded that whole album. I joined after the work was done and just...
You know, the fun part.
Yeah, true.
What I also
and that means that this album, I think, yeah, in terms of finding sound, I think that wasn't the biggest thing for us. I think the biggest thing was to find out how to write music together as a three-piece, because this album are the first songs that we have written together. So I think that you can hear that, and I think if you would knew in which order we wrote the songs, I think it would be quite interesting to know that, because I think we developed different things while we were writing different songs. So for me, at least, that was quite interesting and quite fun.
So as you already sparked our interest, so in which order did you write the songs?
I can't remember. No, the things, I think the first song we wrote together was Arcades, and that one was recorded. I think at least the drum part was recorded for the Inadequate Shelter already, for a song that wasn't used on that album. So we had that and changed everything else around that. And I think what I meant with exploring things, that song is in terms of songwriting and in terms of time signatures, pretty easy one for us, I would say, or easy or relaxed one. And then we started to, I think the second one was Lake Bled. And then we started to experiment more time signatures, time signature changes, and found a little bit more of common ground to experiment with. So I think the ones that are more straightforward, the ones that came first, and then we found more interesting stuff to explore.
What I also noticed is that a lot of your songs tend to be not the typical post-rock stuff where you have like a very, very calm beginning and it slowly builds and builds and builds and builds. Your songs very often start in the thick of a thin, right? You know, like very quick into it. A lot of the songs, in my opinion, are mid-tempo to up-tempo numbers, which I like. So is that like intentional to you? Like, okay, let's not create songs of 14, 15 minutes, but a little quicker.
Yeah. I guess we all just don't have the patience. So when we start to write a song and we are doing the first repetitions of the first part, maybe I'm mostly the first one that says, okay, so now it's enough. So let's go on. And yeah, as the other two comparable, let's say. And it's not really intentional, but yeah, it just happens that yeah, we're not the how to say, cinematic guys when it comes to create music. So it's more technical, maybe, let's say.
And I think we all like to listen to music of that kind as well. So that's not a thing of not liking it, but more like wanted to do something else. And in terms of, I remember that we talked about tempo as well for songs. So like, I think especially as a rhythm section, we both analyzed some songs that we've written and were like, okay, where can we go with tempo? Because we tend to go for like, I don't know, 130 BPM or something, just as a default. So we try to write some songs that are in different tempos for us, and to give us a challenge and do something different, to not repeat ourselves all the time. And I think that was something that I really enjoyed in writing this music, to not go to the defaults all the time, but to say, hey, okay, we did that, let's do something else, not with everything, because of course there are some stylistic things, and just doing something for the sake of doing it differently, I think that's not the smartest thing to do. But just to see what we can explore and just try things. And I never had that in other bands where we sat there and be like, okay, now the next part could be this, this, and this, or this. Okay, let's try all that options, and then end up with all four of them combined in something. So that's quite fun to do, actually, and really hard, and yeah, so annoying maybe sometimes.
You have already hinted at the way that you write stuff. So let's cut to the chase. How must we envision jeffk writing songs? Is it like a very democratic process? Is it kind of jamming process? Or is there like one songwriter who comes up with most of the ideas?
At least with the last song we've written, there's no one songwriter at all. It's like a community thing to do. So we write the best, I think, when we're in the room together and trying things out. I don't know if it's that much jamming. I mean, we do jam for fun, but not for songwriting, I think. Sometimes, maybe. Sometimes parts just develop afterwards, but we do talk a lot about it, and we all do write for the other instruments, what I think is interesting as well, because I'm not going to the drum set and playing a drum beat, but I will talk to Stefan about placement of different things or fills, and Matthias will do that as well. And we will all talk about the bass parts and how to change that and how that works. So we're all writing for different instruments and talk about it and try to come up with stuff. So it's not my part is playing bass. It is in the first place, but I'm also doing stuff with the other instruments, and the others are as well. So everyone is writing for everything together.
Yeah.
Would you, Stefan, you wanted to add something? Sorry.
No, not really.
So would you say that?
Said.
So would you say that the way that you write is through communication?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it is, and I think the exciting part for me, at least, is that something different will be the result of that than I could ever do on my own, or just as a bass part as well. So I couldn't write that alone, so I have to be with these people to get this result, and I think that is exciting and pushing for me, because when I joined the band, for me at least, it was quite hard to get into these songs that are pretty long and pretty technical, and hard to play in some parts. So that was really interesting for me, learning new stuff and writing then and into that style. So that was great.
I guess that a lot of the record, the guitar, was written and recorded during the pandemic, right? Did that in any way change your songwriting process?
Actually, just one of the, or maybe two of the songs were written during pandemic, and for these two, a lot had changed. So the first one was, I guess, it was Fingers, I think. And I remember programming the drums for it at home, just with this software. I don't know the name. Reaper. Yeah,
Reaper.
And and I experienced. So it was very interesting. I said, okay, good. I don't go into the rehearsal room and do it by myself, but try to do it that way. And then I tried, and it was really fun because as I experienced later, I can program drums that I cannot play. So there was a moment where I realized, okay, it's just not possible to do it remotely. I mean, at least that way. So I was some time the only one that could go to the rehearsal room and record some drumming patterns, parts, and so. And we're sending it to each other afterwards, and we're trying some stuff at home. So
but we couldn't finish that songs without getting together again, I think, and that's the part, because we've written some things of Fingers and Ratio, I think, alone, and tried to combine it, and it didn't work as well as when we got together again and could talk about it again. And I think that is the way we can, is the only way we really write. And we hadn't written all the songs during the pandemic, because our songwriting process just takes a lot of time. So we started writing for this album, I think, 2018 or 17 or something. So we've written like I don't know, 4 songs in 4 years or 3 years or something, probably. Yeah, because
it's a little inefficient.
It is, and it is annoying as well. But it's just I think it is the most fun way to do it, because we're not as I said before, we're not doing parts and repetition that we don't want to do, because or we're trying to find the best thing that we can, and sometimes that means being in a room together for 3 weeks and don't find anything that will stay in the end. So songs change quite dramatically, I think, as well, and yeah, where the parts are and how to change over to the next part and stuff.
Sorry if I'm nagging or bored, like putting my finger too much on details, but is it then the way that you basically don't write songs, but parts that later make sense as songs?
Not really, I think. Most of the time it's more like focusing on one song and having one idea to start with. So finish one song, maybe had some parts left over from writing, but I didn't think that we did that in any song, just taking another part from a song that we didn't use in that. So that's just gone, and then there's a new idea, and then we try to just see where we go with it, but afterwards maybe rearrange something. I remember Fingers, I'm pretty sure I wrote the bass part after the intro, after the loud part, and that was our starting point. And then we said at some point, okay, maybe we shouldn't start with that part and just do something more heavy. And that part was written some 5 parts later or something, so we just rearranged a little bit. So it's not piecing parts together. And I think that is something that I was afraid of during writing these songs, because I was like, yeah, you could have the problem that you just have parts pieced together and it's not a coherent song, because 8-minute songs that don't repeat that much could be a little bit overwhelming, I think.
I guess what you mean. So the record is named Tar, which we all know is one of the very aggressive and stinking things that we need to put onto our streets in order to be able to drive. Is that name fitting for a post-rock record, which is in a way so light and so open? Or is that also just a play that you did?
Yeah, I think our angle to look at it was a little bit like, we think of our music as kind of dystopian, so like kind of dark, kind of, not that we are aiming to do that, more it's like what's happening when we're in the room and making music together. That is what you're hearing. So we thought about something that could spark some imagination with the listener, because it's not like we planned this album, as you might imagine after hearing how we wrote it, as this conceptual piece about destruction of nature or something, and then said, okay, this has to be Tar, the title. We wrote the songs and tried to find something that could combine the songs and maybe give some interesting idea while listening to it. Because for me, at least, it's not that important how the songs are named or what the album is named. I mean, that could be interesting and could be a guide to think about some stuff. But in instrumental music, I'm fine with just hearing the music and have my own imagination with the songs. So for us, I think it was kind of interesting to find something that is not too clear and not too, this is how you have to see that, and you should have these images in your head, and find something that is, yeah, giving you some guideline to think about something, but not being too on the top or too strong, maybe.
When you say that, sorry, Stefan first.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say that with Tar, it was the first time I really, when I was listening to our music, and maybe that was during the process of finding names or titles for the songs. It was actually really the first time I was listening to music and connecting titles with the music and developing thoughts to that. So actually, as Berger said, I would say that I mostly also just don't care about the names or anything. I'm just remembering who was it? Mogwai, I guess. They were asked, how do you create your titles for your songs, you know? And they said they just don't have any sense.
They had, like, I
funny.
remember that they said that there's only one song which they wanted to have, and that was Scotland's Shame, because them being huge Celtic fans and the Rangers having demolished parts of Manchester, they wanted to do a song against the Glasgow Rangers. But I also remember that he said it could have been any song. We just wanted that title. Yeah, true. Because I think there are like a lot of post-rock bands who try to purvey meaning through the titles. I mean, like if we remember like Red Sparrows, you know, they had like titles which were like spanning over 3 lines or something like that. And I very often think that, you know, if you want to purvey a lot of meaning through music, then you should do vocals. And otherwise, you know, just like you say, I very often I also just find if tracks are titled 1 to 7, whatever, and I can get my own imagination going. However, Berge, you spoke about your music being a little bit like a dystopia. And as we all know, dystopian books and movies and songs are always based on reality, and they're always a comment on reality. So whether it's intentional or unintentional, let's just assume that Tar is your comment on the current state of affairs. And then the question must be, when you look at it, would you say that we are living in a world where the state of affairs are worse than 30, 40 years ago?
I mean, probably. I think if I would have known what was the reality in the last few years, I would have said that this is quite dystopian. So I think that is quite fitting to that kind of music. And what I want to add is, I think lyrics are, of course, a big part of conveying a message, but as well is the visual thing that you can do nowadays with videos. And I think that an inspiration or a way to interpret it, the ideas behind Tar is the music video for Idle Eyes that we did as well with the Flimmert crew that wrote most of that with our inputs. So there's some comment about our society in that as well, put together with Tar and our way to live and focus on things that aren't as important as they should be, maybe.
So then let's go on to something that, of course, we have to ask, and you've already mentioned some of them. Musical influences. You've already mentioned like Mogwai, Maserati. Are there any other musical influences? Maybe also some stuff that one doesn't even hear on the record, but something that just influences you too on a personal level.
Yeah, there are plenty of such influences that you cannot hear, I would say. So I guess all of us, the 3 of us, are listening to different kinds of music. So I guess Matthias is the one that mostly or compared to us listens to post-rock and post-metal and whatever post styles. So I'm more the pop, jazz, funk, soul guy. And Berge, tja.
In between, I would say. but at least, yeah, I actually did. We should finish that at some point. Did a playlist with stuff that I listened to while writing these songs, but because we wrote over such a long period of time that is quite hard to say. But I think through Stefan got into jazz a lot more, or like, yeah, I don't know, hip hop jazz combination stuff that I really do enjoy, like Bad Bad Not Good, for example. That is a band that I really listened to a lot in the last years. So I think that is, in some ways, maybe hearable in that album in some part, but it's not like the thing that we do. But I think I always listen to a lot of different music, from metal to jazz to hip hop to whatever thing that I like. I was never that interested in borders with genres or something. Just yeah, and I think there's yeah. Sorry.
I just recently discovered while listening to Soundgarden that Soundgarden really must have a large influence on my drumming somehow, but I didn't really knew. So I just covered it, and I was listening to it and said, okay, good, sounds a bit like my stuff.
Damn. Yeah.
But I can imagine
statement.
I can imagine Matt Cameron being a huge influence on a lot of drummers our age, right?
Oh yeah.
I can see that totally. You live in Leipzig right now, a city that very often is overlooked in Germany, and I also guess outside of Germany. But also a place that is known for its very vibrant music scene. Do you have any idea why that scene in Leipzig, in Leipzig in general, but also in, Konnewitz and around Coney Island, why is that such a special place? What makes it so vibrant for musicians?
Hard to say. I mean, there's a strong historical how to say that root for that, because Leipzig was always like a city for books and culture and music as well. There was a lot of music published in Leipzig a long time ago. And I think, for me at least, I moved to Leipzig in 2012, I think. And that was kind of the end of all the freedom that was here. But with the change of systems and a lot of people moving away, there was a lot of free space to claim and to do stuff. And I think there was just a lot of people here that wanted to do something cool and did it, just did it. And so there was a lot of free space and a lot of good spirit to do stuff, and there's a lot left and a lot gone by now, I think. But still, there's just a huge interest in art as a general, I would say, in this city. And that's something that I really do enjoy about it.
By now, you already released on two of the most famous post-rock labels worldwide, on Dunk Records and on 1,000 Arms in the States. So first of all, how did it happen that your debut album your debut full length was released by Dunk Records? That is probably something for Stefan, because giant
let's say. I guess Matthias could give a more detailed comment about that, but as I remember, we were just applying for labels, and we guess did a pre-recording and sent it to different labels, and as far as I know, Dunk were responding, and we thought, okay, really? Yeah, that was kind of a special moment, and of course, we just said, okay, wow,
yeah, of course,
we are doing that.
You would have been stupid to say no, right?
Totally.
And now you're releasing on one of my favorite record labels, might even be my favorite German record label, Golden Antenna. First of all, shout out to all the people behind it, especially the mastermind. Was that easier now to get a spot for the new record with Golden Antenna, or how did that happen?
You mean in finding a label for the new album? Yeah, I think we did the same as we would do with writing music. We just wanted to see what could happen. So we just spread the album as well. We recorded it on our own and said, okay, we want to do all that stuff, and then let's see who wants to publish it. And so it wasn't like we just wanted to go to Golden Antenna. That was not the intention, but we just wanted to see what we can do differently, or how we could grow a little bit, or find something that will do the album justice, to say that. Because of course we sent it to Dunk as well, and talk to them, and just try to figure out our options, what to do best for us in that moment. So yeah, and then so we landed on Golden Antenna, and a big part of it is that we just wanted to try to do some more PR stuff. And Timo, the main guy you're probably referring to before, was just giving us some options with getting some money from the government, the German government as well, and getting some help with that. So we said, like, okay, that's a cool idea to try that out. And of course, Golden Antenna is just a great label, so we want to try that. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think still very underrated, but it's a really great label. Also because I think that they don't care too much about genres, which I always like. So
and one band that I really enjoyed seeing live, and was an influence for me as well, was Radare, with the album Im Argen, where it's just great, and was live. I saw them at Dankfest the first time. I wasn't aware of them before, and it was just amazing. Sitting in the forest, listening to their music was just awesome.
I can still remember Radare opening for The Ocean, like 12 years, 13 years ago. Just feeling old by now. Okay, but anyway. Yeah, great band. And as you said, generally a very good label. So now you have this handful of new songs on Tar. Which of these new tracks will find their way into the live setting, or will you play the whole thing in one go?
We actually did, like 3 weeks ago on the release show. We played all of them, and I think like 3 old songs. But as we did live, we tend to change things, so play and try out which ones are working, or play songs that just interesting to us, and try out new stuff. So I think we will play all of them. At least we did, and try to fit it in a set that makes sense from timing, because it could get long if we try to play all songs from that album.
So, Stefan, when can we see you guys back on stage again, and where, of course? Next,
we will.
jeffk.
Yeah, next jeffk concerts. Oh, that's quite hard to say. jeffk concerts.
jeffk concerts.
We are planning a release tour for May, and I don't know, Birger, do you have the current dates and venues and cities in mind?
No, not really, but I think there are a few booked, and we're still looking for some dates, or our booker does. So we'll release that soon.
Yes.
So are you planning on doing a Germany-only tour, or shall it be a little bigger in Europe?
A little bigger. So Germany and Switzerland, France, and maybe Italy. Possible.
I keep my fingers crossed for you guys. Talking about concerts, as you are also music nerds, like everybody that I've talked to in the last couple of months, are there any concerts where you say, oh my God, I'm so much looking forward to that concert or to this band or maybe that festival?
Oh, that's hard for me. That's your type of question, Stefan. Go for
it. Because you don't go to concerts or what?
I do go to concert, but actually, to be honest, I worked as a technician a long times,
okay.
so that's kind of work for me as well sometimes. So I'm that's not a bad thing at all, and I do like it, but I'm not the type of person that is really looking forward to concerts. I'm more like, that's cool, I go to that kind of guy. So
Stefan.
Yeah, so for me, I'm really looking forward to Preoccupations in not sure, I guess 25th March in Leipzig. So that's the only bigger concert right now that I have planned so far. So there were plenty of concerts that were cancelled the last year. One of the bigger concerts, I was quite sad that it was cancelled, was Bad Bad Not Good in Berlin. I guess it was planned for September or something. And I guess, not I guess, it was Thundercat, but I don't know exactly which date. So and I don't really know if they are repeating or have new dates now for this year. But if I could, I would go to these two concerts.
Okay. That basically is a very good transition to my next and last question before we come to our infamous quickfire round. Imagine you are organizing a one-day 5-band festival, and jeffk is also playing on one of those 5 slots. Question, which slot do you take for your own band? Which other bands? Which lineup? And of course, the big question, why? Stefan, we start with you.
So I wouldn't choose to be the headliner because you always need to wait so long. So maybe I would say I would put jeffk first, or maybe second. Let's say second. It's okay. And first and third, I don't really know, but the headliner for me would be Yaga Jazzist.
Oh, that's a good choice.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have 2 out of 5, Stefan. 3 more.
Hard to say. Yeah, I would take Yusuf Kamal, but I guess Yusuf Kamal. So this combination doesn't exist anymore. So Kamal Williams, and then I would have the 4th artist. That would be just recently been to a concert, Theo Crooker. Yeah, a jazz guy. Plays the trumpet, and so Theo Crooker. The 5th.
Yeah.
Very hard.
The 5th is always the hardest.
Yeah, come on.
Okay, so you want to say 4 is enough. Okay.
Not really.
Berge, your 5.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. I would play first, I think, to have fun and then be relaxed and listen to all the bands that I want to listen to. And headliner is not the thing that especially with the bands I have in mind. But I think it's really, really hard to do that. But the first band that popped into my mind, I don't know why, is Rage Against the Machine. I would love to see them and meet them. That would be quite interesting, I think. Then I listened to a lot of Tom Misch, or is it called Tom Misch? Yeah. That would be quite cool. And a good downer, maybe, after Rage Against the Machine. Dance a little bit. I would really love to see Tiny Fingers as well, because I didn't see them, and I really love the album The Fall. I would book Tiny Fingers to play that thing for me. And
last one.
Yeah, that's hard.
While you are thinking, would Rage Against the Machine be the headliner?
Don't think so. Maybe. Yeah. I mean, but going on stage after them, I wouldn't go after them. So maybe that's not nice to let someone else play them. But I thought I do like some this progressive stuff maybe, and I really enjoyed another album by Pucifer, Money Shot, that I really do like. So I would say maybe Pucifer as well.
Okay. Yeah. To make Berge a little jealous, the first out of the 6 times that I saw Rage Against the Machine was when they were an opener.
Yeah, all right. And who had to play after them?
Well, it was 1992. It was a small club in Cologne. We didn't know anything about a band called Rage Against the Machine. We came into the club, they were playing, and after 5 seconds, everybody knew, okay, whoever comes next, this is not going to be beatable. The band that followed the official headliner was Suicidal Tendencies, and nobody gave a fuck about Suicidal Tendencies afterwards anymore, because, you know... Yeah, old times. So we come to our quickfire round. Both of you always get 2 alternatives. You have to choose and maybe give a short explanation. As I like to play around and joke around in these sessions, you will also get some stuff that is not music related. So we start off with something very simple. Jeff Bezos or Jeff Daniels?
Who's Jeff Daniels? To be
one of the actors. If you ever seen The Newsroom, or if you've seen Dumb and Dumber.
All right.
Yeah, so a famous American actor. So Jeff Bezos or Jeff Daniels?
Yeah, Jeff Daniels, because I learned his name today.
Okay. and I like Dumb and Dumber.
Okay. In general, when you're not listening to music but still want to be entertained and your girlfriend is not around, what do you prefer, a book or a movie?
A movie.
Yeah, a movie for me as well.
Okay, I hoped you would.
And my girlfriend is a writer, so that's good that you said it when she's not right.
I hoped you would say that, because then, and as you were talking about dystopias, Clockwork Orange versus 1984.
Clockwork Orange.
1984. I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
As you spoke about your love for Mogwai, or at least that you know Mogwai, question: Mogwai versus Godspeed You Black Emperor.
Mogwai.
Yeah, I would say 2. Mogwai. Yeah.
Mono versus Caspian.
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 Oh, that was clear.
Yeah.
I would have guessed so, yes.
Yeah.
as you're from Leipzig, and I know that at least one of you isn't from Leipzig, or both of you aren't. So anyway, I'll give you two German cities: Berlin versus Cologne. Now you can make some enemies in one of the cities.
Yeah. Know where you're from. Yeah, that's that one.
No, without knowing that I'm from the only real city out of those two. But anyway. So, Belge, which one would you choose?
I would say Cologne, because I'm not the biggest Berlin fan, but this is just because I'm not the biggest fan of really big cities. So I'm from a big city as well, and I would choose the city where I'm from over Berlin, but not over Leipzig. So I would say Cologne, and I haven't been there in a long time, actually. So would like to go there.
Don't underestimate us. We also crossed the million inhabitants mark a few years ago. But Stefan, Cologne or Berlin?
Yeah, I would say Berlin, because I just yeah. No, it's not easy to say. So I've been twice to Cologne, just twice, so not more. So actually, it would be interesting to learn a bit more about Cologne. But a good friend of mine lives in Berlin, and I'd rather go to Berlin then.
To build a bridge for you, Stefan. Although I'm from Cologne, but if I look at both cities from a tourist point of view, it would probably be Berlin. Although, of course, Cologne has the one and only most beautiful church in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. There is no church that beats the Dome. So, places to play. Where would you rather play? Dunk Festival or Vivid Festival in Norway?
We played Dunk Festival before, and I haven't been to Vivid. Yeah, but I haven't been to Vivid, so I would love to be there and see that festival as well. Not because of disrespect for Dunk, because I love that festival and it's awesome, but I would like to see that because I haven't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same for me.
Interesting. You are think very much alike. Last one, and I think I know at least the answer of one of you guys for it. But when sitting at home and you have to choose between two genres to listen to, which one would you choose, jazz or R&B?
Oh, it's hard.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, no.
Yeah, okay, but still, you have to pick one.
We do have to. Yeah, now we can share. You can say jazz and I say R&B, so we can listen to both and switch.
No, but I really would say jazz.
I probably. To be honest, I listen to more jazz than R&B, but I do like R&B as well.
Mm-hmm. So, guys, thank you for all the time. Thank you for the very interesting answers, and for everybody else out there, remember to listen to jeffk new album Tar, even though it has nothing to do with smoking cigarettes and stuff, but simply because it's a great album. So thanks for being on the show. Your chance for final words, guys.
Yeah, thank you for having us and presenting our music to people. That really means a lot. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks.
So take care, my friends.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.